Hello, we're back on Farming Simulator 22. We're on Elm Creek on New Farmer mode, and I've had some questions on cultivation. So you have to do some type of cultivation, and you can use either a cultivator as a couple of choices, and the next one could be a disc harrow like I have here. So, hi, I'm Farmer Teacher. Stick around. I'm going to show you the differences and the ins and outs of using a cultivator versus a disc harrow. Let me show you real quick on the menu. If you go to these things, okay, our cultivator, the one we have, is this one. I picked that because it requires 140 horsepower to pull it. It pulls a 3-meter swath and goes 9 miles an hour. And then our disc harrow, I picked this one because it also requires 140 horsepower. And it is 4 meters wide and goes 11 miles an hour. So it's going to do the field quicker. It's going to do the field quicker. So what we're going to do is run some tests here because there's some other things involving weeds if you have weeds turned on that change if you use a cultivator or a disc harrow. They're different the way you treat the weeds. So we'll be right back with some more info. Okay, our first step is that we're cultivating the field with the cultivator, cultivating this field with the cultivator. And one of the things to consider is how much faster the disc harrow is for cultivation. So I'll let you know here once we're done with this. Hey, just a quick note, I actually switched over to this field on the map only because the other one was small and this one's over 4 acres, 4.5 acres. So just want to let you know we're on a different field for the test. Okay, we've cultivated our field and gone into the next month. It is now September, and we have weeds in here. You can see the weeds. After you cultivate, you're either going to need to spray it with herbicide or pull the weeds with a weeder. Okay, herbicide is going to cost you about $168 an acre, so it's more expensive. So what we're going to do is jump in here and use this weeder. Let me show you this. What I'm doing for the test is I'm using equipment that you could use with a base tractor you might have on a beginning farm. You know, they have like 170 horsepower. So this weeder here is the one I'm using. It's basically the biggest one I can get and pull with a base tractor, base medium-sized tractor. You need 150 horsepower to pull that, okay? So I'm going to jump in here and weed this, and we'll see how long that takes. Okay, we're back. We planted sorghum in April, and now we fast forwarded to May. And the month after you plant, you're going to have weeds, so you got to weed it again. See, it says use a weeder. We have small weeds, so that's what we're going to do is weed this again. Okay, we've completed our test with the cultivator, and it came out to, let's see, it looks like as far as minutes, 11.7 minutes per acre using the cultivator and then weeding twice. And then it worked out to, with fuel and wages, $271 per acre. So we'll be back. We're going to try the disc harrow now and compare the results. Be back in a second. Okay, we've used our disc harrow on this field, and notice it looks a little different. It's not quite as raw dirt as it is when you use a cultivator. This is a seed bed. Looks a little different when you look on the menu. It says seed bed. What that does for you, though, notice there's no weeds. We disc harrowed it and went into the next month, and no weeds came up like when you cultivate. So that's an advantage of using a disc harrow. You don't have to do one of the weeding cycles that you do. We'll be right back with more. Okay, we've gone to the next month. We have planted some crops in here, some barley. Now, an advantage, like I said, of using a disc harrow is you get to miss a weed cycle. A disadvantage is when the weeds do come up after you plant, since you haven't weeded, they're going to be medium instead of small. And what that means is you can't use a weeder per se. You have to use a hoe type weeder like this thing here. So this is what I have. Go to weeders. The second one over from the right there. Chop Star is a hoe, costs 51,000. You need 140 horsepower to pull it. It's 9 meters wide, goes 7 miles an hour. So not quite as efficient as the weeder, but you did get to miss a cycle. So we're going to weed this and time that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We finished our test on the cultivator and the disc harrow, and this is what we found. Okay, the cultivator for total time per acre ended up being 11.7 total time per acre. That's minutes per acre. Okay, for the disc harrow, it was 8.3 minutes per acre. And you know your farming time is valuable, so it's going to be use less gaming time to use the disc harrow method. Money came out to $306 per acre for the cultivator. I mentioned a figure earlier, but I forgot to include maintenance earlier in the video. So it's $306 per acre, including the maintenance. And the disc harrow is only $172 an acre though, because you got one less weeding cycle, and the disc harrow itself is faster, even though the hoe is a little slower. So overall, you're better off time-wise and money-wise to use a disc harrow. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this with your farming buddies so they can make their farm more efficient. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.